Welcome to another episode of the 5enses Webcast. I'm your host, Robert Zinni, and today I'm sitting down with Democratic candidate for Yavapai County Board of Supervisors, John Lutes. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting myself and the crew over to your house. It's very relaxing as we get to see the sunset here.
I love this space. This is I've been fortunate enough to live in this space for a little over 30 years, and I love our town and our county, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running for Board of Supervisors.
Nice. So you said that you've been here for 30 years, 40 years, right?
33 years in this home. I've worked on retail on Whiskey Row for 40 years.
Okay. So when it comes to Yavapai County Board of Supervisors, I don't know if a lot of people know what the responsibilities are. Like, could you tell us what the position you're running for?
I think that's one of the reasons that I'm running, is because I feel like people have very little awareness of what the Board of Supervisors does and what they're in charge of in the county. And it's pretty amazing. The County Board of Supervisors is in charge of the spending of all of your Yavapai County tax money and grant money, and their budget is almost $299 million a year, and it's really amazing that voters don't feel more connected with knowing what they spend their money on. A large portion of the budget has to do with the county justice system and the county sheriff's department. They cover policing for everything outside of the cities in Yavapai County, and so that's a huge part of the budget. Another very large part of the budget is community health services, and also a large part of the budget is maintaining infrastructure.
Okay.
So those are the main things that the county supervisors are in charge of, as far as what we provide for our citizens.
Right. So my tax money, you get to decide, or the board will decide where that goes to. So now we know a little bit about the position. Why do you want to run, or why are you running for this position?
Well, one of the main reasons that I'm running for this position is because I feel like more people need represented, and more people need to feel represented by their county government. And, it's just like I'm saying, is that there seems like people hardly know what's going on with the county government. And I think that there could be a lot more accountability and transparency in how your tax dollars are spent, and and what services we could and should provide as a county government. So those are the things that are near and dear to me. I believe that one of the major things that we need is a countywide comprehensive water plan. And the county pretty much stays out of water right now because the state regulates the water certificates that the municipalities, meaning the cities, trade with developers for development and that sort of thing. And that policy was developed and signed into law by Bruce Babbitt in 1980. And I feel like that's very outdated. The only active water management areas within the cities, and I think that we need to have the state allow much more county control over water policy. And so I would actively lobby the state for more control in rural counties of water. I think we need rural water management areas. I believe in science. We need to be measuring and metering what water is being drawn out of our aquifers, and now we're not doing that at all.
Why would it be important that we measure the water coming out of the aquifers here in the southwest of America?
Well, as you well know, we are experiencing another year of drastic drought, and this is the arid Southwest. What do we receive? An average of 13 inches a year of rainfall. There is not an overabundance of water in the Southwest, and it would be very nice if we could preserve our last river that's running on the top side of the ground in the state of Arizona. The only naturally flowing river is the Verde River in the entire state of Arizona. All others have been sucked dry by well use, and we need to preserve the Verde River. It's one of our countywide treasures. And we can do so if we do safe and smart and measured development.
You're running on a pro-water kind of a platform. Are there any other issues that voters should know that you're really passionate about or that you want to bring representation and transparency to?
Water is key to sprawl. And people that I talk to, and I've talked to thousands of voters in District 1 of Yavapai County, and it's amazing that they come up with the word that my campaign was concerned about to start with, but it's sprawl. And people here are really concerned about the extremely rapid growth that they've seen and the kind of development that they've seen in the last, 5 or so years here, maybe 5 to 10 years, somewhere in there. I've lived here 40 years, and for 30 years it seemed like, we had a kind of a normal sort of constant pace of growth that didn't seem too out of hand. And all of a sudden, it just seems like that we're sitting in traffic staring at a sea of rooftops. And that's not the quality of life that people either stayed in Yavapai County to live or those who have recently moved here came to Yavapai County to live. So one of the things that I'm liking to say is, let's not Maricopa our Yavapai.
That's a good slogan. It's interesting how urban sprawl and during your lifetime has impacted why you're running right now.
Yeah, it's changed, quite dramatically, and I'm afraid that we're going to lose the kind of flavor of what it is that we stayed here for. I'm very concerned about it because I raised my daughter here. My daughter's now like 38 years old, and I have a 9-year-old grandchild. And my wife's parents actually convalesced and died here, so we're 4 generations in this area, and I would like to see the kind of Yavapai County that I've been blessed to enjoy be around in some form for my granddaughter.
If you're elected, what is your vision for Yavapai County?
My vision for Yavapai County is to have Yavapai County continue to be a healthy, safe, and prosperous community for all of our citizens. I think that we can all thrive here, and I have thrived here, and I think that future generations will thrive here, and I really see a bright future for Yavapai County. I think the things that we need in particular are more efficient transportation and affordable housing. These things will tend to keep the youth in Yavapai County and bring jobs and bring a job force for jobs. So I really think that affordable housing and efficient transportation need worked on big time in Yavapai County. My grandiose view is that, and this is something that may not be possible in my tenure as a supervisor, but I would like to begin the foundations of and work quickly towards is a solar future for Yavapai County. I believe that Yavapai County could create its own microgrid and become electrically independent of APS. And I would support rooftop solar. I would support solar on top of parking lots. I would support solar on top of county buildings, and I would support solar fields. And I really believe that we could have cheaper energy here and cleaner energy here and stage ourselves as a model for the future.
That'd be great. And speaking from a young person's perspective, it is too damn expensive to live in this county.
It is, and I hear that when I call people that are under 45 years old, I hear all the time about the cost of housing. And I really, really think that there are different housing models that we could work on and to create housing that's closer to where the jobs are that people can afford. What I really feel like there's throughout the county, this is a problem where, not only are people living in Paulden that are working at a restaurant in Prescott, but Sedona has this problem huge big time where everybody that's in the service economy in Sedona needs to live in Cottonwood. And what we need to do is get more affordable housing close into where the jobs are. And that will attract and retain young people. And we will have a much more diverse and healthy population here in Yavapai County.
Well, it seems like your plan would help with urban sprawl, like you said before.
That's right. It would cut down on the, if you cut down people's commute to work by, like instead of doing a 45-minute drive to go to work every day, and you live closer to where you work, not only do we have less pollution, but we have less cars on the road, and happier people. So, and there's ways to do it. We just need to work towards a denser population within our towns.
Now I want to touch on something that's very little controversial here in Yavapai County to some. It's about the new county jail. And I'm not sure if I've done a lot of my own research about the county jail, but I know that as a taxpayer, my tax money will go towards the jail. So I want to know what your stance is about the new county jail that you'll be overseeing if you're elected.
Thank you, Robert. Well, I really feel like it shouldn't be a controversy. And the reason that the construction and funding for the jail and the taxation for the jail has become a campaign or an election issue is because the county Board of Supervisors has failed in their leadership role of being as transparent and accountable and open about what they were doing. People felt surprised. When you tell people that their taxes have been raised in order to build it, they feel like they didn't know. And I just think that it's a communication problem that the County Board of Supervisors should have made sure that they were educating the public about what was needed and what needed to be done and how it was going to be paid for. And, as far as how it's paid for, I have to say, the voters felt like they voted it down twice as a sales tax. And, I don't believe in it as a sales tax either, because that affects those at the lower end of the income spectrum more, the income spread more than it does those at the top. And frankly, I think that the jail should be funded on a property tax like it's currently funded, because it's much more fair to those who have less. I've come to the conclusion that the justice facility is very well planned and that the community really does need it. We're paying our Yavapai County sheriffs to drive people 42 miles back and forth to Camp Verde instead of being around to keep our public safe. And I think that it's just a ridiculous waste of money. And then all the busing of over 200 inmates a week to their hearings and their sentencing and all that in Prescott, because the sentencing and hearings and all have to take place at the place of the arrest. You have your county sheriff spending all their time carting people back and forth and organizing people on buses and all that sort of thing. And I also think that the new Criminal Justice Center can really empower us to be in the forefront of how the response is to incarceration in our county. Our sheriff's department is actually the model sheriff's department when you research it for keeping people from being incarcerated. All of our Yavapai County sheriffs are trained to defer people to mental illness facilities and mental illness when that's the problem. It used to be 4 years ago, 47% of the population in the Camp Verde jail had mental illness problems or drug addiction problems. We've got that down to only 3%. And that's because we're deferring people from jail at a more rapid rate than almost any other county. In this new facility, with the courtrooms attached and with the mental health facility attached to it, is going to allow us to process those people so much more efficiently and to treat our inmates and the people who are accused of crime so much more humanely. Just eliminating the transportation will mean that people are incarcerated 4 to 10 days less on every single person. Our county sheriff's office are trying to, they have a drug program within the facility the way it's designed, and they have a drug program now where they're deferring people to alcohol and drug treatment before they're incarcerated. And that's how you lower incarceration. We have really worked hard to lower incarceration. However, even though all the statistics on incarceration and recidivism, for that fact, in the last 4 years, recidivism has gone from 39% down to 16% because of these new programs of deferring people to mental health and to drug treatment programs instead of incarcerating them. Right. It's lowered the recidivism rate in Yavapai County from 39% to 16%. These are wonderful figures, and we can go ahead and work harder to even incarcerate less people. However, the population growth has meant that the Camp Verde facility is absolutely full. There are currently 54 people sleeping in dormitories on the floor in the Camp Verde jail. We want to give those people beds.
Right.
We want to give them a cell and a bed to sleep in. And that's what this is about. This is about the more humane treatment for a less amount of time of people who are accused of things.
Wow. So, like, that's really refreshing to hear, John, because in this time of 2020, you hear defund the police and how, the police are working against you. But, like, it seems like Yavapai County sheriffs are, like, the model, and that they're doing the appropriate adjustments to make sure that our community members are, taken care of.
They, in fact, have been the model for the state. We have the best statistics anywhere in the state on for public safety and for all these different incarceration rate sort of things. And in fact, the model for the state, they were so much that they were actually granted $3 million, $1 million a year for these deferment programs by the state in order to further the model for the state and to continue to do as good a job as they're going to do. When I'm elected to the Yavapai County Board of Supervisors in District 1, I will be able to be in a position to help this program go even further and work with our county sheriffs and the Yavapai County Sheriff's Department to incarcerate people less for nonviolent crimes and defer people that have drug and alcohol problems and mental illness problems from the incarceration system. And that's what this new Justice Center is all about. That's why the mental health facility is going to be attached to it right there, where at least four to five different organizations will help with drug treatment, alcohol treatment, and mental illness.
That is so awesome to have and wonderful to see the jail right there with the mental illness aspect, because we're talking about the rehabilitation of our fellow citizens here. And I just want to say shout out to Yavapai County Sheriffs for doing a great job for lowering all the rates and being the model for Yavapai County. That's awesome.
Awesome.
I'm proud to say that.
I'm proud to say it too. And it took me doing the research and educating myself to realize how great a job they are doing and what an opportunity this modern facility is going to be for us to do an even more humane and better job of taking care of people with problems.
Right. So thank you for dropping that knowledge of the jail with us right now for our listeners. I learned a few little things here and there for that. So you got very passionate about the jail. And we talked a little bit about water and sprawl. Is there any other issues that you would like the voters and our citizens to know in Yavapai County and District 1 for sure that you want to bring to the table with your passion?
Well, one of the things that I've brought to my campaign is making myself accessible to the people. I've done a lot of phone calls myself. I've talked to people myself. I've created every Wednesday at 4:30 a chat with John where anybody can get on a Zoom call with me and talk to me about what issues they care about. And what is it that is bothering you? What is it that you need? What is it that you expect of your county government? What would you like to know about what your county government is doing? And I think that kind of public service is what the job should be about. And so what I would like to bring is myself as a person who will talk to you, and who will listen to you, and who will be there for you when you have an issue. And that's what I think that we need to bring is that kind of transparency and accountability and accessibility, of our leadership. I mean, that's what the job should really be about, is that. So I would like to take the chats with John that I've started during the campaign and keep them going straight through the 4 years that I'm county supervisor. So I will have an open Zoom call, if that's still the technology, or as long as that is the technology, where people can access me and know that they can get a hold of me and talk to me and have an open discussion.
Okay. So speaking about accessibility and whatnot, John, we're running out of time. Where can our viewers find more information about your campaign?
Well, my website is pretty easy. You can just go to votejohnlutes.com. That's vote, JOHNLUTES.com. And that's the easiest way to get to the website. My Facebook page is under Lutes for YC Boss.
Thank you, John, for inviting us over to your lovely patio this evening. And if you want to see John around town on Whiskey Row, he is the co-owner of Van Gogh's Ear. And I got to say, I love a lot of the art in there, especially the shoes that I know that your son made,
You betcha.
And also, wearing a shirt like that to an interview, you got some style points to me. It's very vibrant with all the fish, and I really appreciate it. So
that's what the campaign has left me wishing I was going fishing,
All right, because you're putting all the hard work in there, like a good candidate should. So that does it for another episode of the 5enses Webcast. I'm your host, Robert Zinni. And for more information, check out 5enses, mag.com. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.